Hello Rebels, broadcasting from planet Sun. This is a joke for somebody, she knows who she is. So I just wanted to tell you that there's a really interesting video out there today from Family Free Counseling. The Real Narcissism, it's called. Go watch it. And be prepared to get really mad, you know. It's like, I mean, he's reading an article that kind of got him mad, which did get me mad too. The article is saying about narcissism and if it's overrated or well, I'm not going to say everything about it. You go and watch the video. He said it so well, and I'm with him 100%. So the lady's saying that there's 1% of narcissism, which is crazy to say that. When I mean they say 15%, but I'm sure there's more too. Exactly, if you take the pattern, you know, that you have the narcissist and that narcissist, they had family and they, the kids, how many are going to become narcissists out of them, and how many of them are going to get married and make more victims and at the same time more narcissists. It's just an epidemic. For me it is a kind of over the years, you know, at one point I made a video that was saying that it's not an epidemic. It's been there for centuries, but it's getting worse and worse because narcissists are bringing up new narcissists, you know, and even us, the scapegoats, we have so many traits, and the fact that we are more we do more self-research and are more self-aware, and we can spot them and fix them, is not the same for everybody. It's not the same for everybody. So how many are going to be able to correct that so as not to pass it on to their children is very important. And the more we pretend that it doesn't exist, the more harm we do. I have this conversation with my husband because since I've been reading and doing all this research and everything, and all these red flags that are for me to use, you know, and I know about, I spot people and I oh God, he's a narcissist, he's a covert, or he's that, or and he says, oh my God, you know, you're getting obsessed, you know, you see narcissists everywhere. I said, but they are everywhere, you know. To start with, how did I get into that? Watching a video that was titled, I was on my way to becoming a narcissist. So that means that I spotted in myself so many narcissistic manners, let's say, and ways, you know, that are not correct. And I had to fix them. But how many people are either completely damaged from it, okay, and we have to count these people, and we also have to look that there are others that will become narcissists, will treat their children the same way because they've been taught like that, and they don't have enough self-awareness to correct it before it's too late. The fact it's like words and phrases we use that we don't mean them, maybe, but we say it in a way that is totally wrong and narcissistic. And the problem is that you realize that you don't mean it, but the others who are taking it, the kids that are like sponges, you know, they might not have the strength to get rid of that. And for example, I made a video where I said a phrase that I didn't take it out, the video, and I explained under what I meant and all that, but when I listened to it after, I was like, what the fuck did I say? I said the phrase, it was about my husband not doing the things that I'm asking him so nicely to do with me, and I've been waiting for so long for him to do it with me, and He's not even giving it a try, you know, to kind of satisfy me in a way, and or to make me happy by doing it with me, for his own reasons, whatever they are. But the fact that I said the phrase, I know that when I will die, he will regret not doing them with me. It's like, it sounds like punishment, you know. Like, that's awful. That's a phrase that asks you, if you don't do that, you will regret it, you know. And nobody's to regret anything. I mean, and if they do regret, it's not for me to say it like that. It sounds awful. Of course, I didn't mean it in the way that it's because I know that he's a sweet guy, and sometimes he needs to be pushed to do things. So he doesn't understand, you know, that how much it would be, or maybe I didn't explain how much it would make me happy to do that. Wake up early in the morning and go and see the sunrise, you know, things like that. And so it was like, I know that, because I can imagine, you know, let's say one day I die suddenly out of the blue like this, okay, get a disease and I die, and it would, you know, kind of have regrets of, oh God, and I miss her, and I didn't do that with her. And what did she ask me? She asked me to wake up, you know, one morning and go and see the sunrise, and I never did. It was this kind of way, but the way it came out of my mouth was totally narcissistic way of coming out of my mouth. It shouldn't have. The way I was telling my children, you know, if you're not gonna help me with the table, well, there's not gonna be any dessert for you, you know. It's like a punishment kind of way. And there's all these little things of the way you bring up children that are not the proper way to bring up children. I'm not saying that leave them free totally and don't show them the way, but there's another way of showing them the way. It doesn't always have to be punishment and you will regret it kind of way. And if you don't do that for me, I won't do that for you, you know. And there are so many other examples as parental messages we give to our children that are, in a way, that were and still are totally wrong, you know. And all these are, in a way, narcissistic ways. Okay, you don't have to be a full narcissist to use them, but because you were brought up with narcissists that couldn't tell the difference really, and they didn't even look for a different way, and this is the way, you've learned them and you pass them on to your children. And if you add a few things that will happen to that child in life and all that, I mean, it can easily turn rotten for me, turn bad. So we have to wake up, and yes, we have to point out, of course, not everybody is a narcissist, but we have to accept that even we, the victims, have narcissistic ways of dealing with things. And if we erase and expose and then erase and forbid also, it's a bad word, but if we do not permit this to blossom more, it's not blossoming actually, but anyway, to become bigger, you know, and we put a stop to it, then slowly, maybe human beings, and mostly parents, the human beings that are going to become parents, will have a choice and will be able to think for themselves, is this the right way, or is this the right way? Which way do I choose to bring up my children, you know? How much harm will I do if I tell them this, and how much harm will I do if I tell them that? I once saw a video about somebody saying, and I think I've mentioned it in another one of mine, that the father was never telling, or was singing songs, I don't remember exactly, was singing songs to the children, because he didn't want his children to have a big idea of themselves. You know, he didn't like people who had a big idea. Go figure out. You know, a narcissist who has a big idea of himself didn't want his children to have a big idea of themselves. So he was kind of putting them down, and he was never telling them that they're good looking or pretty or all that. And I remember that with my first child, I did that. I had friends who were coming up to me and she said, "Oh, how beautiful. Your daughter is beautiful." I was like, "Shh, shh, shh. No, don't say that. I don't want her to think that it's the most important thing in life to be beautiful, you know." And my daughter, who is a beautiful girl, really, not because she's my daughter, but she's a beautiful girl. She has everything going for her. Well, she doesn't believe in herself. And when I went to therapy and I told her that, she said, "Well, if you, her mother, is not going to tell her that she's beautiful, how is she ever going to believe it? How do you expect her to believe in herself when you, her mother, didn't tell her? You know, she can't guess what's in your mind. You should have," because I knew that she was, but I didn't want to tell her, you know. So I was like looks are not important, you know. You need brains in this life, you know. Your looks is a little thing extra that you are luckier than others to have. But people can be beautiful without being beautiful, you know, without having the looks. It's because they shine from the inside. And so my daughter actually grew up thinking that it's not so important to be beautiful, you know, and it's no, and I'm not beautiful. And it's really strange, the mistakes, and very interesting, the mistakes we do as parents. Okay, it would have gone completely wrong if I was telling her every day, constantly, you know, "Oh, how beautiful you are. Oh, you're the most beautiful girl in the world," and all this. That's the extreme, the other extreme, which is also wrong. But there's a middle point. I also can think of the drawings or things that when my kids, because I'm kind of artistic and all that, so every time they did something and they showed me, my first, okay, the second one I really, really try hard and I've corrected myself, I believe. But my first was like, and my second, and we're making something, and I was straight away, "Oh, yeah, but you could have made it nicer if you did like this or like that." It was so wrong of me to do that, you know. I should have just said, "Oh, that is beautiful," you know, and if you ever encounter any problems or you need more ideas, I can help you out. You just ask me. But pushing my opinion, maybe I could have done it better, but that's not the point. Don't bring the child down, you know. Just tell him how good it is, and by telling him how good it is, he will want to make it even better. Well, not that also has a limit, you know, because if you overdo it, then there's also a limit to that too. It's two extremes. We don't have to go either way. It's in the middle, somewhere in the middle. And Fight Narcissism talked about that in one of her videos. It was very fun because I had this example in mind too, you know, the X Factor where they go and sing all that, and you have some people that are like, they don't even have the looks for that, and to become a star, and they don't even have the move or the voice, you know. It's totally wrong, you know, and yet their parents made them think that they're gods, and they go there on X Factor and they make a fool of themselves, you know. And I'm not talking about the mediocre ones. I'm talking about the not supposed to be there at all, you know, kind of people. And they don't even accept rejection, you know. So then they tell them, "What did you come to do here? You know, you're not appropriate for this part," and all that. And they are hurt. Their feelings are hurt, and they're like, "What? Well, that's not what my mother said, and my friends tell me that I have a wonderful voice." I mean, and they sound like a cat that's been run over, you know, kind of thing. This is also the other extreme. You make narcissists who really don't have actually no reason at all to be narcissists, you know. And because you have the narcissists that have a really high IQ, you have narcissists who are beautiful and all that. And this is also another type for me. I put them in category, and this is like the parents who, I don't know how to explain that, but sometimes I think that they saw what it was, and then they thought, yeah, we'll just not put that child down, we'll make him believe that she's she's worth more than anybody else in this world, and the child comes out believing that when they haven't even tried for anything, and being themselves as they are, they don't even improve because they don't need to improve. My parents think that I'm perfect, I'm the most beautiful, and all that, and they don't even need to improve themselves in anything. So there's limits in all this, and it's just the middle. And I think the only people that can have hope of being saved and coming out of all that is the people that are open-minded enough to see what they're doing wrong and try and correct it. Okay, as long as we don't really want to correct everybody around us. There's also, I mean, for everything there are limits, limits to everything. And but here, the problem of narcissism, yes, we have to shout out, it's a big thing. And I've had friends around me that never heard of it, and they can't even get the information and all that, so they get from me. And ever since I started talking about my mother and explaining how it works and all that, and not just saying, oh, she's crazy, my mother's a bitch, she's crazy, and that's all, but explaining that she is a narcissistic, she has narcissistic personality disorder, and of course I'm the one who diagnosed it, not a doctor, not a specialist. Yeah, from what I've learned and seen, it's like it's there, it's all there, and no way to get this woman to a therapist. So I tried, but. And she would fool them. She's so good that she would fool a therapist. But when I talk to them about all that, and I tell them what I read, and then they come and they phone me up, and they said, oh, I went to a friend's house, and you should see her mother. God, it's like yours, everything you described me, and she was doing this and this and this, and they started spotting also the moves, because even though they were not in that, and they were brought up in a very normal and healthy family environment, they start seeing it in other people, the way they behave towards their children or their husbands or their wives or whatever. It's very strange. It's very strange how you start to spot it and what to do then, but the thing is that what we're doing here and getting people to inform themselves about this, to get onto the internet and get some information out there and all that. Eyes are going to open, minds are going to open, and people are going to see it, and they're going to be more strong to say, stop, hey, no more of that, no more of that with me, it's not working. And now I'm not afraid to speak it out, because I'm not afraid that I'm going to be judged by the neighbor, the uncle, the aunt, the grandfather, the grandmother, if I say something bad about my mother or my husband or whatever, it's out there. You get the information, but this is what they have, this is how they treat me, and I'm not putting up with it. And the more people are going to say, I'm not putting up with it, we might have a hope of saving the planet, because it is about the planet. And if you think about it, all this shit that is happening, it's like it is narcissistic businessman, narcissistic politician, narcissistic everything. Lawyers, everything that is going wrong is about people who didn't think about anybody else but their wallets, their status, their themselves, and that's all. They didn't think about nobody else. Most of them don't even think about their own children, the future of their own children. It's like this world is fucked up because of this me mentality, it's all about me. It's never about the future. It's never about my neighbor. It's never about my children, my grandchildren. Who gives a shit about my grandchildren? You know, won't be even here to see them grow, you know. So as long as we have food and we are rich now and we can do what we want, it's all about this. And we have to erase narcissism off the map, the same way slavery was erased off the map. Well, it won't be totally erased, this is for sure, but it's, yeah, we have to keep on going, and we have to fix ourselves first to be able to, this is where it starts from, fixing ourselves, correcting their mistakes, so at least our children grow up to be decent people. And another example I had is like the police force, okay? Police force is like so corrupted and so, we can't, you know, it was not like the old days when the policeman was a person that wanted to protect the good from the bad and all this. It's not like that anymore, and we don't believe in it anymore, to the point that I remember when my son was like 7, and we were talking on a trip, and we were talking about what he's going to do and what he would like to do when he's older, and he said, I'm going to become a policeman. No, it was my daughter actually. I'm going to become a policewoman. And my husband, who is an anarchist, he said, what? Never is my child going to be a policeman. I mean, dang, I just went. And I said, what are you telling the child, you know? Policemen, they're worth nothing. They are all corrupted and this and this. What do you think the drugs are going? You know, when they get the drugs, they put them in their pockets, they sell it out, they make the money out of it. It's all corrupted. And anyway, they have no respect for other human beings and I don't know what. And I was like, well, do you think your daughter is a person like that? No, he said, I don't want her to become, but she's not going to become, because if you taught her right and she becomes a policewoman, she's going to be one of the good police people, you know. We don't have to erase the whole job, I would call it, the whole, not job, the whole, oh God, I can't get my words, but you know what I mean. And the therapist in Family Free Counseling who is doing the video, he said at some point, he said, I'm ashamed to be a therapist. When I hear things like that, and I can understand in a way, but I would tell him, you know, don't be ashamed, be proud, you know, because now, even if this line of work has been corrupted in a way, you know, because it's not very clean, really, is it? And he's the first one to say it. Then it's very important that you are proud of the job you do, and you encourage other people who are like you to do this job, you know, and to take over the whole therapist thing. But not take over. The good people should take it over, you know, take back what is therapy supposed to be, to help others, you know, and it's not to make, like, to gaslight their customers, don't call it their patients, sorry, not customers, their patients anymore, you know. I mean, this is the moment to be proud of what you're doing and to encourage and influence other people to do it the way you're doing it, the correct way, you know. And don't be ashamed for it now. Not now. You should have been ashamed if I would understand you said I'm ashamed for it because you didn't talk about it, speak out. But you're speaking out, and this is something to be proud about. So, yeah, and that reminded me of the story of my daughter when she wanted to be a policewoman. Really, it's like, no, we know she's a good person, you know, she's needed in the police force, she's needed, people like her are needed. And this is the moment, exactly because it's been corrupted. So, that's it. Yeah, I went on and on and on there, and I'm like very excited. But you have to go and watch this video. I tell you, the most interesting video out this week. Bye. Have a nice day.